everyone, and welcome to Time and Money Mastery. We are your co-hosts. I'm Indiana.
And I'm Sam. Before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on any of our episodes. Now, let's get started.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Time and Money Mastery podcast. Today, we are joined by the amazing Gelaene, and she's going to be having a chat with us, all things money, money mindset, and just her journey. It's pretty cool. Hi, Gel.
Hey, Indiana. Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, no worries. I'm excited for this. Do you want to just start off by introducing yourself? How old are you? What do you do? Where do you live?
Amazing. Well, I am 24. At the moment, I'm actually staying with my parents. So my boyfriend and I, we live on the Gold Coast, but we are about to travel Australia. So we have bought ourselves an awesome van, and we are currently building it up. So from the ground up, we're building it. And once we've got that done, which should be hopefully really soon, we'll start to travel around Australia. So at the moment, we're just staying with our parents, which is in Sydney. And what I do for work is I'm a wellness and business mentor. So I coach small business owners, female business owners who have just kind of gotten started in the business world. And I just teach them how to set up and create a sustainable business so that they can enjoy the process of building their business while still loving and living their lives. And personally, my business kind of came from a pain point of mine where I was running my business for about 2 years within network marketing, and I kind of ran myself into the ground. I was all about the hustle. I pretty much sacrificed my entire 2 years to run my business and never really enjoyed my life or created any memories. And at the end of the day, I wasn't happy with what I was doing. It was all about the end goal for me. It was never really about the process. So my business now has kind of come from that pain point and teaching others how to actually enjoy your life and still reach your goals at the same time. And just by kind of introducing wellness into your business routine, and creating that time efficiency as well. So that is what I do for work. And yeah, that's where we live.
That's amazing. Like that was a lot to unpack. Like I'm just like, oh my goodness, you're doing so many cool things. That's awesome. Let's start with your coaching. So you touched on that a little bit. Sort of how did that actually evolve? Because I'm also like just delving recently into money coaching, and that's kind of at the beginning stage. But I do still currently work 4 days a week. Well, technically I work in a part-time job 4 days a week, and then I do disability support work on the weekends. And I'm finding myself really like burnt out, trying to like keep up with the jobs and the podcasts and the coaching. Like, how did you evolve into coaching without just completely burning yourself out?
Honestly, my immediate answer would just be the passion I have for it. So how I kind of evolved into it was I fell into coaching when I was in network marketing. I built myself a beautiful team, and I was helping them with their businesses. And I tended to be the person that they came to when they had any kind of problems. So not just about how to run their business, but I kind of helped them through their life problems and how they could overcome them and still work their businesses. And I really enjoyed that. So I really loved helping them and coaching them through different things. And I felt like I could connect with pretty much anyone on my team. I consider myself an empath. And so I always find myself putting myself in their shoes, and I could kind of help them that way. And I really, really loved and enjoyed calling them and catching up with them, touching base with them, and they really found my help really helpful. And so I kind of fell in love with that side of the business rather than the products and the selling of the products and all of that. And so when I transitioned out of network marketing and decided to create my own brand, I really wanted it to be all about like how I run my business and really make it my own, like my own kind of personal brand. And so that I could help and approach my clients in a way that I thought was best for them. and not really having to fit within like the box of network marketing, if that makes sense. I could help pretty much anyone. And that just opened up that door for me. And so where it comes from is just the love of helping others, the love of seeing their faces light up when I help them through a problem, and them applying that, like everything I've taught them, and seeing that results. It just makes my whole day. It just literally makes me want to cry. And so that's where I kind of find that balance of just loving what I do, because beforehand, when it was, you know, the work I was doing beforehand that I wasn't enjoying, I found it really difficult to do. And I found that I had to like put a lot of time into it and not get back what I wanted from it. And so I then obviously was burning out because I was putting in too much and not getting enough back, not getting what I wanted out of it. And so when you're doing what you love, it completely changes everything. And you start to work within your feminine energy. And that's something that I teach on as well, is feminine and masculine energy. Your masculine energy is the energy of doing. It's the getting things done type of energy. So that's where you kind of tend to burn out in if you are too much in your masculine. So it's the to-do list, it's the systems, it's the work. And it's not necessarily the loving of the work or the creativity. It's more just getting the tasks done. And when you start to incorporate more of your feminine energy into it, you are starting to work more within that creative sphere. And you're doing it because you love it. So the feminine energy is kind of where it's really easy, it's really flowy, it's just, it goes with the motions, it goes with what you love, and your passions are very much aligned. And when you feel aligned, you're in that feminine energy. So if you can master working within both of those energies, so getting things done, creating a system in place to be able to get everything that you need done, as well as loving what you do and being creative about it, and not working within your business, but working on your business. So being able to see everything from a bird's eye view so that you're not overwhelmed, then you won't burn out, because you're just going to be loving it.
I think I'm definitely resonating more at the moment with the masculine energy, which is interesting. I'm definitely like okay, like let's just get shit done. And I'm kind of have felt like my life's kind of just passing. Like I'm not really taking stock of what's going on. So I definitely think I need to reassess all of that. So how do you fund that? Like, so I'm assuming like you had like a regular job and then you started your network marketing, and that was fairly financially comfortable for you. And then you had to leave that. So how did you kind of deal with that?
So I had my job. I started off, before I started my network marketing business, I was working in a Mexican restaurant. I had just left my uni. I just deferred uni. And so I was picking up a lot of shifts from work. I was working 40 hours a week, even though I was part-time. Because I just was taking on all the different shifts because I didn't have anything else to do. At this Mexican restaurant in particular, there were lots of people who were students. And so they were from Spain and from Portugal. So they actually couldn't take on they could only take on a certain amount of hours. So I would be getting all the rest of the hours. So I was saving quite a bit of money as well. And then when I transitioned into working for myself within network marketing, I was climbing the ladder quite quickly, and earning quite a bit from that as well, and putting that away as well into savings. And so I just kind of I had all these savings from not really spending much money. I was too busy working my business to even enjoy myself or anything like that. So I wasn't really spending it on much at all, more just spending it on like coffee dates, meeting up with people, and all of that, which obviously keeping those receipts and everything. And then when I transitioned out of network marketing, it kind of all fell into place. It was all quite aligned. So I straight away kicked off with my course. And so I've done a 6-week course, which I plan to run twice a year at this stage, potentially more in the future, but twice a year at this stage. And so I kicked off with my course, and that actually pretty much kicked off my business, to be honest. It was a really great way for me to start. because I wasn't kind of scrambling trying to find clients. I just had this amazing offer that I just started off with, and it just kind of, kickstarted my business.
That's awesome. Do you think like having been in network marketing previously kind of helped you with that?
With
With like
saving.
with saving, but also like with your course, like you just kind of knew what you're doing straight away. You just went straight on into it.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Because the way I coached my team was slightly different to how I was, I guess, taught to. So I had little mini programs that I was doing within my team to help each person be able to elevate. So I had kind of split it into a few different like levels, where I had people going from one level to another, and then the higher level to the higher level. And so I kind of split my team to be able to help them with what they were looking for, because personally I found that training everyone the same wasn't really beneficial for those who are either just starting out or who are like, quite ahead and wanting to elevate further. So I kind of had that in my head anyways. I had already done like a little mini training course thing. And when I wanted to get into the course, I pretty much just like laid it all out in a mind map. I did pages and pages of all these different things I wanted to include, and why I wanted to do this course, and what type of impact I wanted to make with it, how I wanted to help people with their problems, and how I wanted to help them intertwine their wellness into their business. And it just kind of, I don't know really how, I didn't really know what I was doing at the time, but it all just fell into place exactly how I wanted it to. I also had signed up to another course to help me with my business. I truly believe that everyone should have their own kind of coach or mentor, even if you are a mentor yourself. And so I was doing another course. And so I already kind of had that experience of what it could look like. Plus, I had done another course previously to that, a couple years before.
And I think that's like you just hit it on the head there. Like, the best thing you can do is to invest in yourself. And while I'm all for saving money and, building up wealth, like you can't truly get ahead if you're not investing in yourself, whether that's your health, your education, your mindset, a coach, like whatever it is. Like, how much money do you think you've spent on personal development and coaching and all that kind of stuff?
A lot, but definitely not enough. Like, there is still more that I want to do. I still want to have my own personal coach, one-on-one. That's my next move. But yeah, thousands of dollars on personal development and on mentoring and coaching, because what it does is it collapses time, because you can either do it all on your own and figure it out along the way, save your money that way, but in the long run you'll be spending a lot more money than you're actually saving, and not actually making the moves that you want to make. And it does make it frustrating. It makes it frustrating, and you end up either quitting on yourself before you've even tried, or it just takes you so much longer when it could have been so much faster if you just outsourced the help. And sometimes the help isn't necessarily like actual physical help with things within your business, but it's the mental help and the emotional help, and just having someone there to cheer you on. And what I found was that within my network marketing business, I had constant help. I had mentors, I had like sideline sisters, I had everything just like for free handed to me. And when I went on my own, it was so hard. I questioned my self-worth, I doubted myself, I questioned my affirmations constantly, because I didn't have anyone there to help me believe in myself. And because when you're going on this new journey of kind of starting a business, you don't really know what to expect. You have no idea what's on the other side. You know exactly what you want, but you don't really know the steps to get there, and it's a really uncomfortable journey. So if you have someone to guide you and just to keep you, keep pushing you and challenging you, it's so worth the money. You honestly get back your investment plus more.
Yeah, I think you're choosing whether to either, spend your money or spend your time. And quite often people just think about money and they just think, oh, well, I don't want to spend those few hundred or few $1,000s on a coach. But it's like, what is your goal and how quickly do you want to get there? Do you want to spend your time and, put away some money, but, you're not wasting your time, but, that time it's gone. That's the one resource you can never get back. There's always more money out there. And you have to have that mentality that, if you need more money, it's out there. But time, you can't get that back. So if there's something that you can do to accelerate, your personal growth or your business or your education, whatever it is, like, it's so worth the money, because the time you'll never get back, but the money you'll make it back.
Absolutely. And when you're spending your money, I've learned from one of my coaches, actually, she speaks about disordered and ordered spending. And when you spend your money on something that you truly want and that you know is going to be beneficial for you, that is ordered spending. And from ordered spending comes ordered kind of living. And if you aren't spending that money because of a fear of losing it and it not coming back to you, you will still end up spending that same money, but you'll end up spending it disorderly. And it's something out of that is going to come negative, right? So instead of spending it on what you want, you're going to end up spending it on something that you didn't want. And it's not going to be in alignment with what you want. So if you can shift your mindset to shift your mindset to when you spend money, it comes back to you tenfold. You will understand that this is for the benefit of your future, and for if you want more money, this is what's going to happen.
Oh, 100%. Like, that is one of my personal affirmations is, I spend money freely because money comes back to me tenfold. And you really, truly have to sit in that and believe it. And, if you don't believe it, that's fine. You just keep saying it until you do believe it, because you have to believe and understand that money is energy. And it's, like any type of energy, there's positive and negative. And if you are putting out a positive energy towards money, that is exactly what you're going to get back. If you're negative, you're going to get it back. Trust me. Like, I have done both. I have been in that very negative mindset of, oh my goodness, like the bills just keep piling up. I can't get ahead. Like, I just don't know what to do. How do people afford to be an adult, basically? And, you'll get a speeding fine and you'll get an extra bill. And, these things will keep cropping up and they're reflecting the energy that you are putting out. Whereas if you switch to, money comes to me easily and frequently. It sounds so simple, but because it is, like, that's just what you have to put out there. You'll be so amazed how many opportunities come to you, and like money just starts appearing. Like, you'll get a refund here, or you'll get a bonus there, or there'll be some opportunity to make some extra cash. It's amazing. Like, how would you rate like your money mindset, and is it in a good place? Is it still developing? Like, where are you at?
It is definitely still developing. And to be honest, a few years ago, I had a really negative money mindset. I never really thought of myself as deserving of a lot of money. And it was only when I started my business that I realized that I had this money mindset. So you might not even know that you have money blocks. It might be something that you have no idea is like a part of you.
Yep.
Just sometimes it's just like limiting beliefs. And so you could be self-sabotaging yourself like I was for so long because you don't realize. And so that's why it's really important to be aware of your thoughts and of your feelings towards money. And I had this mentality of money always leaves me, or is always taken from me.
That's a common one.
Yeah. So I was the type of person who never checked my bank account because I was so scared to see the number. I was so scared to see how much had been taken from me. And my literal thoughts were, this has taken my money. Okay. So my subscriptions have taken my money. The gym has taken my money. Like, just saying that is just such a negative way to see it, rather than, I'm spending it with love of, I get to go to the gym and I get to work out and get to provide my body with energy. Instead of saying that, I'm saying the gym is taking my money, even though I'm the one who signed up to the gym, you know?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
so I had to overcome these money mindset. And so what I did to actually overcome it was I actually had to get super uncomfortable, and I had to get comfortable with looking at my money, like really managing it properly. So logging into the app and seeing how much money I have sitting in my bank account, giving it the energy that it deserves. Because if you are coming from that lack mentality or that scarcity mentality of, if I check my bank account, there might not be any money, you are literally affirming that into the universe anyways. But if you tackle your problems head on and you sit and you like open up the app and you say, okay, this is how much money I have in my account, this is how much I'm earning this month, how much is going to be coming into my, and just kind of manage where it's going and everything going on, you're actually providing your like bank account with the energy that it needs to thrive. Because like
Yeah.
you said, money is energy, and if you are approaching it, it's you also have to kind of think about how you interact with money, so your thoughts around money, like how do you interact with it? So kind of like I just said before, of being scared to check your bank account, that is interacting with it in a fear-based mentality. But there's also that person who is constantly checking their bank account, and they're constantly checking to see if the number has increased. And that still is a lack mentality, scarcity mentality mindset, because you're not trusting the process. You are trying to take control over it by checking and checking and checking when you
Mm.
can't actually control it. You know what I mean?
Okay. Interesting. I've never really heard of it going the other way, like checking it too often, because that's probably me. I'm constantly like, I
Yeah.
like to monitor everything and just make sure I'm across it so that nothing surprises me. I I didn't think it was from a fear. I thought it was more of like a being across it, but who knows? Maybe it is rooted in some fear.
I think that checking it weekly is a really healthy help. That's you having that healthy relationship with money. I think that checking it constantly throughout the day can come from that scarcity mentality or the fear-based mentality. But I definitely was the opposite of not checking it and making like just don't not wanting to put myself in that position. And how I kind of overcame that was trying to get back to the root of things. So just like limiting beliefs, you want to find out where the source is coming from, where the limiting belief is actually coming from. Because we're not born with limiting beliefs, not born with like the fear of money. We adopt this from our surroundings or from our families or whatever it might be. And how I kind of came to the root of it was I had this fear of not being able to earn enough money because I left my uni degree. And my mum is, love her, bless her, she's the best. She's a doctor, and she always instilled in me to study and become something like that earns a lot of money. So a
Yeah.
doctor or a lawyer or whatever. And
Yeah.
so I studied law. I studied law for 4 years, but it was never my passion. It was never something I wanted to do. It was the most uncomfortable time of my life, battling in my head whether or not I should do this, knowing I'm not going to pursue it, but trying to get the degree to make my mom happy. And when I left, immediately I thought, I'm going to fail. I'm going to fail in life. I'm never going to make a certain amount of money because I'm not a lawyer and I'm not a
Mm.
doctor. And so I kind of took it back to that. And so I obviously then was, it was my self-worth. I obviously didn't worthy myself enough to earn more money and didn't think I had the skills or any value to offer. So I had to work on that. And so I worked on my self-worth. And working on my self-worth has completely changed my whole life, my whole opinion on money, my relationship with money. And I then obviously, when I started my business and started to have clients, I had to work on valuing myself and my work and how I price myself as well.
Oh,
And so
yes.
it has been a journey. It's still a journey,
Yes. I've
because
noticed with
like
you, you give a lot away for free or really, really low priced, and you've got to bump that up because you're
mhm,
providing so much value, and like you need to like respect yourself and respect money, because if you're saying all these things that you love money and money comes to me frequently, but your actions don't reflect that, the universe notices that too. So definitely you need to bump that up, girl.
Exactly. If I'm saying one thing but I'm not doing the other, like it doesn't work, you know what I mean? So I am definitely working on it. Constantly working on my self-worth and my pricing, but it's a journey, and it's not going to be an overnight thing. I realized that from the beginning, but it's just becoming aware of it that is the first step in making changes. So becoming aware of your money blocks to be able to make any kind of changes, you can completely rewrite and rewire your story. And that's what I've done. Instead of saying I'm not worthy of money or I don't deserve money, I say the complete opposite. I believe it, I feel it in my heart, and I walk the walk. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's something that I have been working on. And I know that, just like limiting beliefs, other things will come up. You never really get rid of your limiting beliefs. It's just how you combat them that you become in control of.
Yeah. So what I want to know is, do you have any major financial regrets that you wish you could like go back and undo?
I don't even know.
Well, I guess
I
that's
mean,
good. If there's nothing that springs to mind, you must be pretty good.
I mean, one thing I would say is that I think that venturing out on my own and into the real world, paying rent and all of that, I wasn't prepared for. Personally, I have been sheltered my whole life. My mum obviously wanted me to get this degree, and so she kind of said to me, don't leave home. Like, I'm gonna pay for everything for you until you graduate. I just want you to graduate. And so I never had the experience of like working with money and like paying bills. Like, she would pay my phone bill, she would pay literally everything. Petrol, I literally didn't pay for petrol. And I was really sheltered. So venturing out in the real world, it was difficult for me. I was blessed to have a boyfriend who knew everything. Like, he knows everything. He moved out when he was 16, and he knows how to pay bills, blah, 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 all of that stuff. And he's kind of taught me everything. So, I mean, at first I would say that, I could have had the life of saving even more money by not paying rent and not paying real bills. But I wouldn't then have the experience that I have now. So I don't think I can regret anything really.
Yeah. So while you were living at home, you never really took savings seriously?
No, I mean, yeah, I didn't. I saved some money, just because I was told that that's a good thing to do, but I didn't understand what I was saving for, or really like what the kind of impact it could make on me. So it was just a little bit of money. I would spend a lot of money. I was spending quite a bit because I had so much to spend. I had literally no expenses. All I had was just like food if I wanted to eat out. But groceries were paid for and all of that. So I'm really, really grateful that I do have this experience now to have lived out in the real world, because it has helped me manage my money a lot better and be able to save a lot more money as well.
So would you say to people to start saving as young as possible, as soon as possible? Definitely.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah.
100%.
I
And
feel
it
that.
doesn't have to be like half of what you make, but
No.
just get into the habit of a
Yeah.
small percentage of that, putting that away, because you never know what's going to happen. You never know what the future's going to hold. And we saw with the pandemic, like people's jobs, they lost their jobs, and it's it's good to have that emergency kind of fund in the back pocket.
Absolutely. It's such a like reassurance, that you have something to fall back on, and also not necessarily for something to go wrong, but there might be an opportunity, that you want to go to, or a conference, or something that like, or go on a holiday. Like, I think too often we think of it as like a negative thing, like, oh, if something goes wrong, like fear based, but we also need to think like it could be an opportunity that comes up and you've got that money there ready to go. So I'm interested because
Exactly.
I'm solo, but I wonder, how do you manage your finances with a partner? Is that difficult? Do you keep things separate, or how does that work?
It's not too difficult. Personally, I'm a very independent person, so I did find it difficult to share things. So, for example, going out for dinner, I obviously, like I said, I was spending a lot of money and I would spend it recklessly sometimes and just pay for friends for all these different things and not really think about anything. And I'm still kind of like that. So I don't mind paying for people and paying for things. I love that. But when we got into a relationship and we actually moved in together, and going out for dinner and things like that, we split everything. And so I had to get into the habit of like splitting, or like one of us pays and like paying each other.
Chance. Yeah.
Yeah, if that makes sense. It's hard to explain, but it does make it easier in terms of like having like bills and rent and things like that. It does definitely make it easier. um yeah, does that
Yeah.
kind of answer the question?
Yeah, it sounds like you guys have got a pretty good groove. Like you've got separate bank accounts, you don't have joint or anything.
At this stage, we do have separate bank accounts, but we do have a combined savings account.
Oh, that's
And that's
awesome.
just,
What are you saving for?
yeah, we're saving for a house,
Love it. That's a
which
good
is,
goal.
yeah, it's quite crazy. Because obviously we're not like married or anything, but we want to be together like forever. So, and the next step for us is, once we finish traveling, is buying a house. And so that's what we're saving for at the moment.
Amazing. I love that. And let's circle back to the traveling thing because that is awesome. And I remember when you were just like thinking about it and you're like, oh, like I kind of want to do this. And I was like, yes, do it. Like that's awesome. I would do it. But I'm kind of scared because obviously traveling alone around Australia sounds a little bit sketchy. But you've got your boyfriend. So that's awesome. Personal bodyguard. So tell me a little bit about like how that's going to work. How are you going to fund that trip? How are you going to, keep the money flowing while you're traveling? And how much is it costing to put this van together?
So, basically, sorry, I just like lost the first question that you said.
How are you
Just
going
like
to
went,
fund your trip?
oh, okay, yes. So obviously, I'll be working from the van. So I will be doing, I'm currently got some clients and will be working my business on the road. But also, we have got savings behind us. And so that's just for obviously emergencies and everything like that. But basically, the van. Oh, I should also mention that it wasn't as steep for us to purchase the van or to even get this off the ground, because Zach's mum, my partner's mum, is actually, she's gone thirds with us in the van because she wants to use it as well after us.
Oh,
So it has made it so much easier. So I
that's a
guess
really good
it's,
idea to get more use out of it. So that, because you're obviously going to put a
yeah.
lot of time, love, and effort into building it. So it's nice to know that it's kind of going to keep getting used.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's great to have her help as well. It's made it a lot smoother for both of us. And so I guess it's hard to say how much, I guess, altogether the van will cost at the end of it. But at the moment, the van itself was $12,000. We are putting in about 5 grand to renovate it. And then it's it's hard to tell on the road like how much everything's going to cost, but we're kind of estimating, I guess, 3 to 5 grand along the road. So we're not going to do the eating out thing like every single day. We're going to cook our own food, and we're going to yeah, we're just like, it's not going to cost too much. We won't have to pay for rent. Obviously, we'll be paying for fuel, and for paying for activities and things that we want to do
Yeah.
along the way.
And
Um,
servicing, and do you have to pay for like campsites and things like that?
some you will, but there is a lot that is for free. So we'll see how we can kind of get around that. Um, we were going to do the gym membership for showers and things like that,
I've heard
but
that
I
one.
don't
That's
think
good.
I don't think we are, because we will have a shower that we are going to use like outside of the van.
Oh,
And
is
for
that like
places
built
like,
in?
kind of, so it'll be like a makeshift, like just like create pop-up thing,
Oh,
um
cool.
that we'll use, because otherwise there's also the showers at the beach and things like that. But a lot of the places we'll be going, there won't be any gyms anyway, so we just thought like it wasn't going to be worth it for that. um And then, yeah, food, we'll be cooking our own food. We'll be bulk cooking. So like um, meal prepping
Yeah.
for dinners and things like that. Because I think that cooking at night might be a bit frustrating. But yeah, so we haven't really discussed everything just yet, but that's kind of just a little bit of what we've kind of spoken about
Yeah.
in
Just kind
terms
of
of
going with the
funds and
flow.
things. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
And I
I'm thinking we'll be able to save on the road as well if we do things right and not like splurge, on lots of different things, which will be really good because I think like being able to save while you travel is really awesome too.
How long are you planning to travel? Like, and have you worked out how much rent you're going to save? Because I reckon that will be a big one.
We haven't worked it out, but it will definitely be a big
Yeah.
one, especially in this rental market at the moment. We we're going for 8 months at the moment, but we have spoken about going for slightly longer and going to Tasmania as well after at the end of the trip. So that might be another month, so maybe 9 months. So yeah, 8 to 9 months, and it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be an interesting experience.
Definitely. And like living on top of each other and not having like a lot of space and things like that will definitely be interesting. Are you staying with
Yeah.
any family or friends along the way? Like, are you meeting up with people?
We probably won't stay with anyone along the way. We'll definitely be meeting up with friends and things in different. I've got lots of people I'd love to catch up with in different parts of Australia, but we won't be staying anywhere besides the van. Um, we are also talking about working with, so I work with brands sometimes, so maybe working with an Airbnb a couple of times on the trip and doing a collaboration. So that might be fun. But
Yes.
other than that, we won't be kind of crashing with anyone because the van itself will be really comfortable. We're making it as nice and comfortable as possible. That was my one condition with doing this whole trip, was that I wasn't going to feel homeless. We're in the van to travel, not to live. So we're making it as comfortable and as nice as we possibly can, especially since his mum will be using it as well. And then, of course, after this whole trip and, in a couple of years' time or however long, we will be able to sell the van or even before that, rent it out for people to use. So
That's a
if
good
we've got a
idea.
house, we'll be able to rent it out. And that will be really great as well because that's why we wanted to make it as nice as possible.
Yeah, that's awesome. I want to rent it. Like, me next. It's going to be so fun. And I think that's a like, really good goal because you're going to be traveling in a time where, we obviously can't travel internationally. So you're still getting that, that creative and soul satisfaction of traveling, but you're going to be saving so much money on like typical living standards, which is awesome. Probably going to be paying a lot in petrol, but that's okay. It'll be, all worked in there. And I think that's awesome that you're also thinking about doing some brand sponsorships because that is something that you're really good at. And it's probably really going to help you along the way. Like, it could really help you save some costs and things like that. And I don't know, I just see really big things for you. And I think this could really blow up. And obviously, you're going to be recording it and everything, right? Where can people find some more information on all this?
Absolutely. So I have a YouTube channel and I'll be posting all our videos on there. We're documenting the build at the moment, and also then I will be doing lots of other videos in terms of like what people want to know in terms of like how much everything costs, essentials like Q&As, everything like that, and then also the travel trip as well. Otherwise, so that my YouTube channel, I think, I don't even know what it's called. You would just look up my name,
Yeah,
Gelaene Morland.
we'll link it in the show
You can pop it
notes.
in the show notes. Yeah. And then my Instagram as well, I'll be updating on there as well, which is at She's Simply Well. That is where you'll find probably more content in terms of traveling. So that's where I just literally post my whole life. And yeah, I'll also be making a combined TikTok, so that
Nice.
just to kind of show little bits of videos and travel things like that. Something I think is really awesome is that Zach is really on board with the content side of things, because that was something I was worried about, that he wouldn't want to document things or take nice photos and things, but he's really on board and he's excited. We're going to get a drone, so we can take some drone footage as well, which will be really awesome for the vlogs. And yeah, it'll really just be for our memories, to be honest. We did a trip to Bali once, and I vlogged the whole trip and I took lots of photos, and it's memories that you just want forever. And so I know that this trip is going to be so memorable. It's completely out of my comfort zone. I want to be able to look back and see what we've accomplished and see all the things we've done, and maybe share it with our future kids, of the time we traveled in a van. But I'm definitely going to be updating everything. Yeah, for sure.
Amazing. I definitely want to, get you back at some point when you're on your journey and like talk about how it's going in real time, because I think it's all exciting now, but I wonder how it'll be once you're actually like cooped up in a van together, and how it actually goes. And I'm really interested to see like if your budget stays kind of on track, or if that blows out or you spend less, et cetera, et cetera. And I think lots of people would be interested in potentially like doing something similar. So that's really cool. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm just going to ask you one final question, and that is, what does money and financial freedom mean to you?
Money and financial freedom, what does it mean to me? Honestly, it means choices and options, being able to live a life that you desire, and that you get to make the decisions every day without any fear of like losing money or anything like that. So to me, it's definitely options, and it's definitely the reason why I took this path, was to be able to have the options to do more with my life. The corporate world, it was never for me, and I knew that from the get-go. I knew that what I wanted was time and financial freedom. I wanted to be able to travel. I wanted to be able to buy whatever I want, whenever I want, and feel abundant every single day.
Amazing. I love that. It's like, breaking the stigma. You don't have to be a doctor or a lawyer to make money. There's other ways you can do it. And, it's not all about just having money and having things. It's about having the freedom of choice. Like, you got to leave your degree, you got to leave your job, and now you're traveling around Australia. Like, that is what having money and financial freedom can do for you. And I think that's so cool. Thanks so much for joining us today, Gel.
Thanks so much for having me. I really enjoyed it.
So that's a wrap. If you loved today's episode, leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and let us know why you loved it.
And if you know someone who needs to hear this, then send it their way and share it to your stories, tagging us at Time Money Mastery.
Feel like you're wanting just a little more? Jump on over to our Facebook community. You can find the link in the show notes.
That's all from us today, fam. We'll see you soon.